A hot mic. All right. New Jersey, 88.6 WGAT. I hope you're having a great Sunday afternoon. And welcome to the Meme Machine. That's right. And from the beautiful Garden State. Sorry, had a little bit of a delay there. I wanted to make sure that the Steelers won. So they just did. So now I'm in a really, really good mood. Um, and yes, we're going to have our special remote guest. That's going to be Ashley. I know you guys are not waiting for me. You're waiting for her. And I understand. And she's much better looking than I am, so it's totally understandable. I get it. But I had a couple of things. I'll tell you what, I've been pushed to the absolute brink this last couple of weeks. We haven't had a episode since I guess it was the end of October. So a lot of stuff, a lot of life, a lot of things going on. I'm sure for you guys as well. And we'll get to all that, but we're going to keep it short and sweet. So obviously, uh, we're going to bring Ashley in. Not yet. She is here, though. She's actually, well, not here. She's in Alabama, but she's going to be coming to New Jersey via satellite in just a few. We're waiting for our satellite hookup. But in the meantime, like I usually do, we're going to do some emails from females. That's right. A crowd favorite. Now, yeah, I do get emails from guys, but what fun would that be? You know what I mean? They just basically, it doesn't rhyme either. So we don't bother doing that. So it's one of those things. So, all right. So before we get too entangled in what we're doing here, so I actually, and there's going to be a lot of sarcasm and a lot of jokes and this and that type of thing. But I picked out three. Now I had a birthday that passed a while ago, and I wanted to thank everybody. I got a lot of, emails and texts, me machine 973 at outlook.com and, frontal nudity and all sorts of stuff that was fun for the whole family. So I wanted to say thank you for all of that. That was very flattering. And that one girl, my God. Anyway, so, but anyway, it was all good fun. And I really appreciate it. Another trip around the sun is not a bad thing, I guess. And when you get enough of them, you start looking back a little bit. In any event, all right. So put on my these are just reading glasses. I'm not that old. It's just so I can see shit. That's what glasses are for. So, like I said, I had a lot of emails and a lot, this and that and funny stuff from different females. But I felt the need. There was I'm going to blow through two of them real quick, and then there's one that was really heartfelt. It was a girl who was actually crying when she was doing the email, as per her email. That's what it says there. So I'm going to save that one for third. Blow through this first two, and it's just like I don't understand. First of all, Mean Machine 973 is the area code. We're in North Jersey. To give you some kind of logistical thing, it's about 10 minutes from where the Giants and Jets play at MetLife Stadium. That's where we are, Soprano land, if you will. All right, so that's there, right? Again, how tall are you? I'm 6'2". I'm not sure what that has to do with anything, but I am. But I'm sitting down, so right now I'm about 5'2", 5'4". So we get that out. And here we go. So from Linda, what is your favorite food, and what is your least favorite food? Okay. Actually, my favorite food is tomatoes. Yep. I mean, you could say I have the same favorite food since I was like 4 years old, which is pizza. But I mean, I love tomatoes. My least favorite food, not tomatoes. No, I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm not a big fan of liver. I'll tell you what smells I don't like. Two of them, real big time ones. Number one is the smell of curry. Can't stand that shit. It makes me want to vomit. And the other one is my all-time worst of all time. The smell of a wet dog. I cannot handle wet dog. Can't do it. I would rather put a bullet in my head. I just so those are the worst smells I ever had. And I'll tell you what, being in Jersey, and obviously people know that we are. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. There's three reasons, and three reasons only why people come to New Jersey. Number one, you live here. Number two, you have family here. And number three, you're under subpoena. That's it. There is no fourth, fifth, or anything else. Those are your three right there. Trust me, I grew up here. So when people say, oh, well, how long have you been here? I don't know. Birth. But yeah, I've been out of the state, but they always every time I want out, they pull me back in. You know how that goes. So I'm just looking at some notes that I have here, but I'm unscripted, and I assure you, and she will tell you too when we have Ashley on in a few minutes, that it's all unscripted. I have no idea what she's going to say, and we try to tackle more serious subjects. You know, we're going to have fun and we'll do this and that, but somebody told me a while ago, and it was very nice that I heard it. They said, Greg, you're very courageous for going back into to after being out of the booth for 11, 12 years, and now it's 2023, and you're trying to do this, or you're getting back into that, and you're going back into broadcasting, all that, and I appreciated it. But when I got a gist of what some people, real people, are going through, have been through, you know, currently as well, and the fact that not only do they are or do they want to tell you, like Ashley will, of what they're going through and and the road to how they got to where they are. The fact that that could help people, and that instead of it being like a selfish thing and keeping it in, and this is my private business, and being able to not only get it out, but to be able to actually help some people along the way, that, ladies and gentlemen, is courageous. Not what I do. What she's going to tell you is, make no mistake. And she has all my respect. I've only known her for a short period of time. She's a very nice girl, and we'll get to that in a few. But the email that I wanted to address real quick, and like I said, you thought it was maybe going to be funny, and you see the girl up on the screen, and oh, it's going to be this or that or something sexy and everything. I don't need to read that kind of stuff. It's very flattering, but there was a young lady whose mom, and that's when you're getting older. Her mom watches and listens on Spotify. So there you go. Not that I couldn't have felt any worse than I did 3 minutes ago, but there you go. And the thing is, well, you know what? I'll just read it verbatim. I mean, why not? It comes from this lady. Yeah. All right, Hayden, we got you there. Uh, Now her mom's name is Linda, and she's writing me from. She's actually in California, and it says Sherman Oaks. I'm not 100% sure where that is, but I know it ain't on the East Coast. Now I'm sure it's like Northern California. In any event, her mom's name is Linda, and this young lady's name is Denise. Denise is 17 years old. I have thoughts that last, that have been around longer, some ties and maybe some shoes, I think. But she's 17, and she's writing here, and she says, "Hi, Greg. I finally know your name. I don't have to call you the meme machine now." Right. Well, that's the name of the show, but I am one and the same. I'm schizophrenic, and so am I. And it says here, she said, "I'm actually crying while I'm writing this email or typing this email. I want to be a podcaster. I want to do what my friends say that I can't do. I want to be able to go on and tell my story and be, I mean, I'm trying to do this phonetically because it's kind of jargle around a little bit, but my mom said that I should ask somebody who would know rather than just watching YouTube videos." Well, your mom is very smart, because you're going to get a lot of different stuff from all over the place. And you know what? Her name is Denise, like I said, and she goes by Dee Dee. So we'll call you Dee Dee. The people, keep this in mind, Dee Dee, the people that have the most to tell you on what you should do are the ones that know the least. Remember, I said that. I wish somebody would have told me that a long time ago. Okay. I was 15 years old when I was licensed, and I passed the course, and I got my first gig and everything, and started DJing. That was in the 80s. It was a long time ago. But I do remember how I felt, and I'll get to that in a second, because this is a heartfelt letter, and I wanted to share it with you guys out there. So she goes on to say that I want to do this and that, and I bought the equipment, and I found out what I need and the software and this and that, and I want to go on YouTube, and I want to do this. And she goes on and a little bit here, and once again she mentions that she's crying while she's writing it. She went to do her first live, I guess, a podcast. Um, I think she says Twitch on here, and she didn't go through with it. She said that she got so nervous, and she thought she could do it, and some people are mic shy, and some people don't like being on camera, and I understand that it's not for everyone. You think you can, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh," and that's actually very normal. That's a very normal reaction to have. It is. So she didn't go through with it, and she just she scrapped it and she just wouldn't come out of her room and she was crying and she didn't want to go to school. And, I don't want to divulge everything on here because it's kind of on a personal thing, but she's reaching out to me. So she's saying, I want to be able to do what I think is the best way to do it, but I'm confused. I don't know what to do. Is there any tips or tricks? I could really use some. Can you help me with that? And she said a couple of other personal things there, and she signed it Denise, and in parentheses DD. So, and I'm flattered that you would even ask me. It was nice because, like I said, most of the time I get emails, and either people are being, like, hey, way to go, or being very cordial, or or just being flirty or whatever it is, and that's all cool. But once in a while, you get a legit. I mean, this looks heartfelt to me. This doesn't look made up. And am I going to give you any tips or tricks, Dee Dee? No. And I'm going to tell you what I am going to do for you. I'm going to give you something that can really help you. And it's going to be right from me to you. And I speak from personal experience. I'm going to give you a kiss. All right. KISS. Keep it stupid simple. Keep it stupid simple. KISS. Very easy to remember. And let me explain. Who are you? Lay on your bed, go into your room where it's quiet or whatever, and there's nobody around and everything. Lay on the bed, face up, and close your eyes and find out who are you. Ask yourself, who is Dee Dee? Who am I? And the reason I say this, and it's going to connect and make sense in a second, is because if you don't know who you are, how is anyone else? Because people will see you as you see yourself. So you can't dwell on this and dwell on that. You need to know, who am I? People always say, well, where do you want to be and aspire to do this? But forget about the long term goals and this. And I've never liked that. I always liked a bunch of short term goals because it seemed like I could get to those a lot faster, and I would kind of collect them, and it was a lot quicker. And then it gave me the confidence that I needed to get that long term. What the hell? I don't even know what I'm going to have for dinner tomorrow. I'm supposed to know where I'm going to be in 5 years. So scrap that. Just find out who you are. And you have to ask yourself a few other questions. These aren't tips or tricks. This is life. So, no, it's not for everyone, but how do you know? Well, do you want to fit in or do you want to stick out? Seems like a simple enough question, right? Do you want to fit in or do you want to stick out? Because once you're in the public eye, whether you're a podcaster or a gamer or a streamer or whatever it is that you decide to do, or maybe you become a broadcaster like I did and go on radio, or even if you're doing just a little small podcast or whatever, that's totally cool. They say, oh, there's hundreds of thousands of podcasters that, every week, every month, and they give you all this gumption to do this and that, and you should do that. You know what they don't tell you? The hundreds of thousands that quit every week. And I know that sounds negative, but there's a reason why I'm mentioning this, because if it was easy, everybody would do it sustainably. In other words, some people are just trying it and they're sticking their toe in the water, so to speak. They're testing the waters. You either, the way I grew up, either you do it or you don't do it. You don't do it half-assed, because then you're hurting yourself. And are you doing it for them or are you doing it for you? You can't go out and ask people to do this and ask people, oh, can you want and do that? I made that mistake, and friends and family or whatever, they were just being cordial and being nice and, oh, okay, I'll subscribe. But they're not really interested, most of them, and they're just being nice. You know what I mean? And the first follower you get, the first, is your mom, stuff like that. I have followers. They go by IRS, FBI, and CIA. No, I'm kidding. But it's, you're going to get this. So it's like opening up a playground. The Meme Machine is my playground. I've had that Meme Machine Media, the LLC, for a very long time, and that's my playground. So I invite people to come to my playground, and this is what I'm going to be no matter what. Either they come or they don't. I'm not going to go out and drag people into, because they don't want to be there. That's the mentality you have to have if you're going to do YouTube or Twitch or Kick or whatever it is that you aspire that you want to be on, whatever platform. My best advice is to KISS. Keep it stupid and simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Find out who you are. Don't reinvent yourself online. People say that from time to time. I believe that to be bad advice, because people will see right through you. Trust me, if you're not being you. You have to be yourself, but you have to be different. Well, if there's only one you, that makes you different. Think about it in a very simple way. You could work very hard, but there comes a time where you have to work smart. That's what I'm trying to say. So figure out who you are. If you are passionate about a specific thing or a topic or whatever, figure it out. And you know what? You're going to do your first one. You're going to finally go through and you're going to do it. And you know what? It's going to absolutely suck. Yep, it's going to be shit. And that's good because that's a prerequisite for getting better. Mine was too. I remember I was close to tears. I was 15 years old. I had just done my first wedding. I was doing mobile DJing and everything. And I screwed up the name and I did the, and I didn't know if I ever wanted to do it ever again. And I went home and I didn't want to talk to anyone and I was really upset and everything. And there's that little thing, the thing that nobody can teach you and it's inside of you. It's like that little person that's inside of you. And there's only two things that that person does for you. Either you listen to the person, you go forward, or you stop. There is no middle ground. For me, I decided to go. And I'm glad that I did because it was so easy. Quitting is so easy. You know what I mean? I think it was Michael Jordan that said, you miss every shot you don't take. It's true. And you're never going to fail. The only time you fail is when you stop trying. Remember, I said that. Keep it stupid and simple. All right. And I'm not going to help you to get you ready. I'm going to do you that favor, but I will help you when you are ready. So remember what I said. Take it with a grain of salt. You know, your niche will find you. You know, do and talk about whatever you want to do. And I don't care if it absolutely is disgusting and horrible or whatever it is. If you gave it everything you had, everything that you know how to do, you can always tweak it and make it better. And you're going to get better. And then you build confidence and everything like that. You know, if you complete one, like your first podcast, your first broadcast, your first stream, whatever it is, you were a winner because you did it. You're a winner. You got to look at it that way. Don't listen to the noise, the naysayers. There's going to be a ton of them. There's a ton of obstacles. I don't want to get into all that right now. But like I said, I'm not going to help you get ready, but I will help you when you are. And only you will know. You'll know. And I'm not going to tell you, don't cry. I want you to. And I know that sounds rough. Get it out. Because once you're done, then you're going to know. Then and only then if you're ready. So it's not a tip and it's not a trick. Remember, do you want to fit in or do you want to stand out? So find out who Dee Dee is and don't be the best podcaster. Don't be the best streamer. Don't be the best gamer. Don't be the best influencer. Don't be the best of any of those things. There's only one thing. Be the best Dee Dee. The other stuff will come later. Your niche and your audience will find you. All right. And if you fall off track, and I know it's going to happen where, you know, and you feel like you're totally off track and this isn't working right. And I'm not sure about this or that. Stop yourself for a second and just remember it's going to be okay. Just remember that you're only one kiss away from it being all right. I hope that helps. I know it's a lot to digest, but nobody ever told me how to do this or that. I had to find my own way. So if I can help you, you could go on YouTube all day long and get tips or tricks. This is real life. So find out who you are, and then everybody else will know too. And I'm sure you're going to be wonderful. I wish you the best of luck. And if I can help you in the future, I certainly will. Reach out to me. All right, Dee Dee. So good luck to you. Remember, the Me Machine loves you, babe. Anyway, that was it was a heartfelt email that I felt the need to tell this young girl because you're not going to get it straight when people online, everyone's got ulterior motives and agendas. And you know what I mean? It's just not, that's not the way real life works. She needed a real answer. I gave her a kiss. You're listening to the Mean Machine Radio Show, New Jersey 88.6 WGAT. I am Gregory Joseph. And when we come back, yes, Ashley is waiting in the wings for us. So don't go anywhere. Sunday afternoon drive, so to speak. 88.6 WGAT, live from the great state of New Jersey on your Sunday afternoon, like I said. It's November 12th. And a quick shout out, because I didn't mention it because I wasn't on yesterday. And I know where some people are celebrating it yesterday or today. So a happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there, past, present, and future. We appreciate your service, and we appreciate what you have done and what you will do for this great country. So thank you very much. Happy Veterans Day to all of you out there. Wanted to make mention of that. And, I got a text while I was just on a break. It was only on like a 3-minute break. And, I really wish the best for that girl, Dee Dee. She's a young girl. She's a little bit upset and everything, but I felt the need to be blunt and to be direct with her because that's exactly what I think that she needed. I didn't want to be like, oh, you're going to be great. But, real advice, superior intellect is what gives you a superior state of mind. And that's where when she gets there, and she will, she's going to be great. And I hope she remembers me for that. Otherwise, I'm going to have another angry parent, which is not going to be the first. But, anyway, long story short, I wanted to also make a quick shout out to my friend Jen. I went to high school with this girl. Her name is Jennifer. And she is the lead singer. And you see it up on the screen there for Five Wheel Drive. It is a local rock cover band. They do tribute stuff and that kind of thing. Like it says right there on it says rock, pop rock, party, dance. That's where they're going to be Friday, November 17th. So this upcoming Friday, the Sunset Pub, 425 Beaver Brook Road, Lincoln Park, New Jersey. So if you're in the area, if you're Jersey person or a New York person or whatever, or you're coming from far away, from what I get invited to go quite often. I have to go and see it because it's supposedly they're really good too. That's her website right there. If you want to check it out, it's got more information. So it's fivewheeldrivenewjersey.com. 5wheeldrivebandnewjersey.com. You see, this is what happens when you have a birthday and you get old. You can't see shit. So sorry about that, Jen. Anyway, go and check it out, and I'll flash up her other tour dates where they're going to be around the different places and everything. It's normally all in the state of Jersey. So you should go and check them out. I heard they're really good, honestly. So I've known her for a long time. She's got an excellent voice. I have her daughter sings, everything. So go check them out. 5-Wheel Drive. So, and of course, as I promised, a girl who helped me out the other day by the name of Mary. Yep. So she works in Bloomfield, New Jersey. So a shout out to all those in Essex County for Bloomfield, New Jersey. She is a girl. She works at Mavis Auto Tire, and she hooked me up, just by saying 2 words, Mean Machine. There you go. I think it was like $20 off or what. I don't know. All I know is that she was cool, and she's never had her name mentioned on the radio before. So there you go, Mary, from Bloomfield, New Jersey. Thanks, Mary. All right. So let's get done with that. And since I'm kind of flying solo in my home studio here, kind of trying to do everything. All right. So some of you already know Ashley. She has a lot of followers. It's very impressive, actually, on X or whatever you want to call it now, Twitter, and on Instagram as well. And we'll flash all that stuff in a bit. But I'm going to bring her in. She's been waiting patiently, and I know you guys have too. She's 37 years old. She's from Alabama. She is a widower. She's a widow, I'm sorry. And basically what that means is everybody has a story. Everybody has their own demons. And I've encountered a lot of people like that. We all do. She is courageous and she wants to talk. So I'm going to give her the floor. I'm not going to interrupt. I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm going to let her tell you all about her. So let's bring her in.
Hello.
There she is. Good afternoon, young lady. How are you?
I'm good. It's a good Sunday afternoon. It's actually really nice weather. Well, it's gloomy, but it's nice. Oh, yes.
Oh, all right. Well, that's
just a second. I'm sorry. Get out.
See, real life.
Oh, yes, real life. Even though I told everybody, I was like, just give me a few. Just give me a few. No, of course not. Anyways.
They said, what? A few what?
Oh, God. They never leave me alone. I was watching them climb the wall outside just waiting for somebody to die a minute ago.
It's completely okay. And this is what I meant, but we're not scripted. It's not, I didn't tell you what to say. You didn't tell me that. I mean, so obviously, there you go. You did not we done. So, I mean, you saw the
Right.
or heard the introduction that I gave you. We know that you're
Yeah.
Ashley. We know that you're from Alabama, and I appreciate you coming on because there's a lot of people that might or might not be. I'm sure they are that they're in a similar situation, but everybody has their own individual story, and I know you do. That's what
Yeah.
makes you an individual. I appreciate right up front the fact that you're probably going to divulge and say stuff that people that do know you might not have heard already and everything, and that's very
Oh,
courageous of you. I appreciate it. And I know that they will too, but we'll give you the floor, Ashley. So obviously we
all
know
right.
where you're from, but you can take it from here. It's all yours. Oh, by the way, I didn't
Um.
introduce you. The world, Ashley, the world. There you go. All right, now you have the
So,
introduction.
okay.
It's all
Yes.
you.
All the formalities are over. Well, let's see. 2023 has been just a shit show of a year. I don't know even any other way to say it. It's just been a terrible year.
Oh yeah.
Um, I've been in a 17-year-long marriage, is what I was in, but a good 10 years of that, he was a heavy alcoholic. So, fast forward to 2023, he developed alcoholics neuropathy, um, where that's where he can't walk. Like, that was his form. Like, if he had a drink, he wouldn't be able to walk. And so I got to experience somebody who basically said they'd rather not walk, they prefer to drink. So that's what I dealt with for like past 2023. It's been pretty rough. That whole time, I don't think that he could actually walk. Not stably. Well, you know, one thing led to another, and eventually you get cirrhosis, which that was horrible. So I became a widow for the second time this year, and after 17 years of marriage, which I don't know, it's very different this time. I don't know. The first time it was difficult. This time it was difficult because we have children, but well, and because we were together for so long. Like, I don't know how to function without him being here sometimes because we were together for so long. And so, regardless of our state and situation at the time, it's been a really, really big, mind blowing experience this year. I'm sure other people are having similar issues, especially after COVID. Everybody seemed to have lost somebody, it seems like, whether it be, and I
Yeah.
know a lot of people became alcoholics over COVID. I mean, he
Yeah, they were
didn't,
stuck at cabin
but
fever. Everybody was inside and drinking. No, you're
right.
right, and I did lose someone to it. But please continue.
Oh, yes. No, the kids have taken it pretty hard, of course. And so that's another level of complicated stuff for me to deal with because I have been dealing with my own complicated emotions, and then now it's dealing with kids and being a single parent. It is totally different than when you have somebody you can vent to.
Right.
Even having that person to vent to was always nice. Even though he was not the nicest person towards the end. Um, he was downright nobody liked him. I guess that's the best way to say it. I mean, nobody liked him. We have friends that came up to me and was like, I don't know why you didn't leave years ago. And, I'm like, well, I mean, I guess I could have, but it just wasn't the right time, obviously, or I would have.
And so, just to backtrack a second, so you became a widow for the second time. The
Yes.
second time.
When I was 18, I decided to run off and I decided to show my parents a thing or two, and I got married. Yeah, I really showed them. Yeah, I showed them a
Yeah.
thing or two. But almost
Uh-huh.
a year into that marriage, he shot himself. So he had
Oh,
some
so
underlying
sorry.
issues. Well, thank you. He had some underlying issues, and that was like my world. So I shattered when that happened. I did have a miscarriage when that happened too. So that was like another additive to it. So, but I do think that that happened at the best time because I couldn't have taken care of a child being in that state that I was in. And I wouldn't put that on my mother. That would have been horrible for her.
Jeez, it's like a double whammy in a bad way. I mean, first to happen and the fact that you're still were able to go forward from that point. I know we didn't even get that far yet.
Oh
Had
my
to take a lot
gosh.
of
I
courage, a
can't
lot of
tell you,
strength.
I was in shock for a good 7 years, and it's hard to pull yourself out of that. I'm sure you've experienced something similar with what you've been through, like where it's just not real.
Yeah, it's surreal. In other words, you're in the moment, but you're not like you're looking outside and going, "Is this me? Is this my life? Am
Yes.
I gonna wake up?" Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah,
Exactly, exactly, and it's the most uncomfortable feeling to feel not like yourself. I literally just started feeling normal probably within the last 3 years, and that's been a nice change for me. I didn't think that I would ever get there, honestly. I really didn't. I thought that I would be stuck in a spot to where I was just almost miserable 90% of the time, but I'm not. I actually pulled out, and it's been so nice. It just took me
that's
getting
good.
to, like it took me getting to my 30s, though, to get there, but I did. And that's a big thing for people. I just want them to know that you will get there. I mean, I attempted suicide myself earlier in the year, and it's not something I talk about a whole lot, but it's not something that I don't want to talk about. Um,
Okay.
it's just it's what happens. I thought that I had no other way out. I mean, I'll tell the exact story that happened. Well, he was drunk and he was going to throw me around again because he was able to get up and move around, and I decided to take a whole bunch of acetaminophen. And
That's, Tylenol, isn't it?
it is, yes. Well, I mean,
Okay,
I took different variations of it
okay.
and quite a lot of it. And so I did that specifically. I don't think that I was really trying to kill myself. I think I was trying to get out of the situation that I was in at that moment, that very moment, because I knew what was coming. And so I did that, and I went to the psych ward after my ICU stay, and then, well, I learned a lot of stuff about myself there, and I decided then that I wasn't going to let him do that anymore.
Good.
And there was a couple incidents, but he didn't get to put his hands on me after that. But it was rough. It was rough. But it took me doing that though. So I mean, I anybody can be that low. I hate it when people say, "Oh, you're so weak. You did this." Like that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. If you've never been there, you
Yeah,
have
I mean, they have no leg to stand on. How could they say that that's weak or something like that? That's so counterproductive, and it make you even feel shittier. I mean, they don't
yes.
know, they're assuming, you know?
Right, and then in the psych ward, you have these nurses, and I'm not even gonna. I mean, I don't remember names, but they will literally sit there and act like they're so much better than you, because you're here and they're on the other side, standing there with their little badge, and and they could tell you what to do. And I thought that was just ridiculous. Now, but you do get occasionally a really nice nurse or a really nice tech that'll tell you, I've been here. I've been here. Don't feel bad. We all go through these things. And that was probably a godsend, honestly, in there to have one or two techs and one or two nurses that were like that, because the rest of them were just there to get a paycheck.
So they weren't really invested in anything other than clocking in and clocking out and
No.
just going through the motions. They don't you're just a number, not actually. You're not a person
Yeah,
to them. You're just right? I mean,
exactly. Oh, and let me tell you what
sucks.
our therapy was. I swear to God, okay, this was our therapy. She brought in little picture frames made out of popsicle sticks, and she's like, "We're gonna glue some tiles on here." And then she turns to me and she goes, "Now nobody eat the tile." I was like,
Not even the
"Holy
glue?
crap!"
I used to eat the
I
glue. You couldn't even
I
have
was
that?
no, we couldn't even have that. We couldn't have no fun. She wouldn't let us do anything.
I gotta draw the
Uh,
line at not being able to make little boogie balls with the glue and shit. That sucks. Or the paste. I mean, I was a big fan, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
well, no, seriously. Like I was at the glue. It was Elmer's glue. It wasn't gonna stick a tile to anything.
Uh,
Okay, and I was
what
sitting
a
there like,
gotta
oh,
get the better insurance.
yeah. So I walk out of there and I was like, so is this the only therapy we have? I was like, we can't do like yoga or some crap. No, no, no. That's the only
Yo.
therapy. I was, man, it was
Yeah,
like,
right.
I made it fun though. I made it light. I mean, what else are you gonna do? You're stuck there. Like it's literally like make the best of it or freak out, which there was some people who definitely needed to be there. But
Well, there's yeah, right. The people that can't shake your hand because they're occupied at the time. You know, the special kind of jacket.
oh
And
yes,
and I'm making levity out of it. It's not. I mean, it's not funny. I'm just saying. But this
no,
is so. How many? This is after you had children already, correct?
yes.
Okay.
hmm
And you have how many kids?
I have three. I have twin 14-year-olds, and then I have an 8-year-old.
Twin 14-year-olds. Right there, right then. We were just talking about Veterans Day. Right there, you should have got the Purple Heart just for having two 14-year-olds. I can't. I
It's
get upset when the batteries in my remote control go bad. I can only imagine what you go through. I
the
mean, that's
hormones.
nuts.
Oh,
Oh,
the hormones are
yeah,
killing me.
yeah.
Literally, I can be like, "Good morning," and they're like, "Is it? Is it a good morning, mother?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Is it? I guess it's not a
Uh,
good morning. I don't know, man." I'm like,
Let me check. Yeah, I gotta pinch
looks nice to
myself.
me.
Uh huh. It was a lot better while you guys were sleeping, but yes, it is a nice day. Yeah, that's
Heck yeah, it is better when they're sleeping, so I
so
don't
you have
wake them
twin
up on week.
girls,
Yes,
twin girls,
yes,
and then a third girl.
yep, and a third girl.
Oh wow,
She's
just to
worse
round
than.
out your yeah, okay.
Oh yes,
And how old is she?
8, 8 going on
Okay,
35.
I see.
Oh yes,
Okay, so some
she was
days
the
it's
one.
family circus, and some days it's mommy dearest. Is that what's going
Oh,
on over there?
always, yeah, always something. Oh my God, like that. She's the one who ran in because she was tattling on one of the neighborhood kids because they're all outside playing.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. They all wanted to come in. I was like, get out, like go outside, get out of my
Uh,
house.
well, I
But
saw one the other day. The when they came in, it was like, "Hi, you're so
oh
cute."
yeah,
She's like,
that one was mine.
that's your future broadcaster right there. Out of all three, the one that was not afraid to you just
Mm.
there you go. That's how it starts. Well, they
She's
seem adorable, but you I mean, you're maternal and you're a mom, and I don't know what it's like to have twins, much less three kids. And you are already not I don't want to say that like not 100%. In other words, you it's lingering on in your head, and I'm guessing that they were young enough or young like they are now, so
Mhm.
they kind of knew what was going on, or not really, because they're smarter than you get, than people
Oh
give
yeah.
them credit for. So did they know
Well,
or not really
about his alcoholism or
about the
what?
not just that, but just the fact of what was going on with you and that kind of stuff. What
Oh
you mentioned.
yes. Oh yes, they did. They knew everything. The older girls did. The younger girl didn't know everything. It was all explained age appropriately to her, but the older girls
Age.
knew what was going on. Yeah, as age appropriate
Okay.
as you can, you know.
Right. You try to tell
And
them in this, and it's kind of a sideways, laterally kind of, yeah, because it's
yeah,
a touchy
yeah,
feely. I mean, that you're towing the line there.
it had to be explained anyways because I was gone, and I'm never gone.
Right. Mommy
So
went to college and she'll be back.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So it had to be explained. The older girls knew,
Yeah.
like they knew about his alcohol. Like they have known a lot more stuff than I think they've aged a lot more than normal 14-year-olds because of what they've seen,
Right.
what they've had to deal with. And that is a lot of that's my fault. I have a lot of regret on not leaving sooner. But
Because it didn't just affect you, it affected them inadvertently, right? I mean,
correct, correct.
okay.
And everybody's in therapy, so I mean, it's everything's being
Okay.
handled, but it's still it's so complicated because of the things they've seen and the things they have to deal with, and the things that I see in them that their father had a short fuse, and I think they're taking on a lot of the way he acted towards each other because they're so stressed out. So there's a lot of screaming at each other.
Still.
Actually, I'll tell you, yeah, oh yeah, occasionally. No, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. And every time there's an incident, I always call the therapist. I'm like, you guys need to talk. We need to
Okay.
figure out what's going on. But the twins got into it over a dress the other day and beat each other with hangers.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
I mean, it wasn't
Are
like
they plastic or wire? I gotta know.
plastic,
Okay.
plastic.
Jesus
But
Christ.
this is the firt time I saw them like act out like that. But I'm literally sitting there, and they have a dress that they're not going to wear. It's my dress. I'm already like put it up. And they're sitting there fighting over it. And next thing I know, one grabs that hanger and swings it back, hits the other one. The other one grabs the hanger from her and hits her with it. And I'm just sitting there trying not to laugh though,
Oh,
because
well, they have a name for that. It's called Monday Night Raw, I believe it is. Am I wrong?
no,
Well, I mean,
no.
if it happens anytime during the week, it wouldn't be Monday Night Raw. But I'm making a joke. But
Oh yeah, no.
are they just arguing just because they're used to conflict and arguing, or is it? I mean, or is it? Are they acting out, or do you
I think
know?
they're acting out. I think that's all
Okay.
it is. It's just an acting out type thing. And but I will say that, it's funny. I'm not gonna say it's not funny. There are funny things that they fight about. And the way that they
Yeah.
fight, being twins, like they nobody else can jump into that argument. You're
Nobody
not gonna
wants to.
no, nobody can jump into it. You're not gonna win because they're gonna turn around and they're going to start in on you. I've done it before, and I'm like, okay, but y'all figure it out. But they've taken stuff pretty hard, but also I think they've taken it much better than I thought they would. He passed in the house too, so they've had to deal with like all that stuff.
What do you mean?
Which
Like they found him? Like
no, well, he was
whatever?
on hospice here,
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, the
So all right,
last
so
week
that's graphic, right? I mean, for
it is.
anybody, but
Yes, it's very graphic, and to have to see, their dad, who's the 6'3", 280-pound man, have to have like his diapers changed.
wow, that's a large guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't even know what to say to something. I mean, so this was, I mean, I have to ask, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want. We did mention that, but you said, or you alluded to, that he harmed you,
Oh yeah.
but not
He's
them.
no, he's never harmed them, but I will tell you
Okay.
the one time that, and this is after the hospital and after I'd already told him that we're separating. The nail in the coffin for him at that point, like where I was just completely, I was already done, but he got into one of our children's face and called her a bitch. And because I've seen that towards me personally, that's when I was like, nope, we're done. We're done. You're
Was
packing your.
he under the influence at the time, or is
Oh, yeah.
this
No,
okay?
every time under the influence. And so immediately I made a move downstairs. We have a big basement and it's
Okay.
like an apartment. So I was like, you have to move downstairs. We can't live together. Like we can't cohabitate in the same floor.
So you
So
were not divorced, but separated in the house.
yes.
I've
Yeah.
actually heard of stuff like that. It's not so far out there. You were trying to, and for the kids' sake, I would assume that
Right.
that was the number one agenda right there. So they have some, consistency. Like, okay, mommy's here, daddy's here. We go downstairs to see daddy. We go upstairs to see mom. Whatever the
Right.
arrangements are. So that's kudos to you because
Well,
that couldn't have been easy, right? You got to see him,
and
and you're already pissed or you're worried, right? I mean,
oh yeah, and I'm not a complete asshole. So I didn't want to just throw him out on the street because he literally wouldn't have anywhere to go. Like he hadn't worked in like 3 years at that point.
okay.
So there's literally nowhere to go. And so I'm sitting
Well, he
there,
got sick, right? He couldn't work.
yeah.
Okay.
So of course I'm the only one who knew we were separated. Everybody else thought we were still together. So when we went to the hospital, I'm having to tell all these nurses, I'm like, we're separated. Like, does that make a difference in what we're doing here? And they were like, no. I was like, okay, so I have to make all the decisions. So I
Great.
did
Because you had nothing else going on. Why not do that? Let's pile that on top of it as well. And judgment calls, right? I mean, constant.
all the
Yeah.
time,
That's
all the time.
yeah.
And things change within a matter of like an hour. Like, I'm sitting there, like, what are we doing now? Oh, we're going over here to do another CAT scan or another MRI, or oh, the kidneys aren't working now. We went through to where he had such bad cirrhosis, it shut his kidneys down. So
Wow. Yeah, I
it
mean,
was,
your
it was,
liver is the number one thing. It's you keep a healthy liver. It's yeah, it's not good. That's and you said how old was he when he just
he,
recently passed, you said, right?
he did September.
And how old was he? Oh, so this is like 60 days ago.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. You want to talk about fresh
And
wounds. How old was he?
he was 39.
Oh my God. Very young man. My
Yes.
goodness.
I
I'm
mean,
so
he
sorry.
just turned 39 in May. Well, he was a great guy when he didn't drink. That's what everybody's like, oh, you were with him for so long. I was like, yeah, but you only knew him when he was an alcoholic. Like, we've been together 17 years. For at least 7 of those years, he wasn't like a hardcore alcoholic.
Right.
He was fine. He was good. He would socially drink, and then it just snowballed. Just, you know, 2 drinks became, oh, I'm going to have, a pint. Pint became a fifth. A fifth became, whatever he could get in before he went to bed.
The
And
domino
so,
effect, right? Yeah.
yep. I mean, it
That's
is what it is with that.
well and all right, so just to so that we know where we're at here. So this is your second husband.
Yes. My first husband didn't drink or do anything. We were only together for like 2 years. Not to say
Okay.
that hurt any less. I mean, that was definitely a very traumatizing experience, but to
Yeah.
be with somebody for 17 years, that's where it really hurts.
Well, you didn't have children with him. You had the 3 children with your second husband.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Not that that takes away. I was just wondering. Okay.
No,
So,
but it yes, but it does, it clarifies. I mean, like, we had a lot of, I was with Josh from the time I was, like, 20, so it was very
so you were a
long
young
relate.
mom. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Very-
24, had the twins.
Wow. That must have been, that's trauma right there. I mean, you knew you were
Well,
going to have twins, or was it like just a happy surprise?
it was a happy surprise when we found
Uh,
out, but now I will say going into labor, the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life was, "Well, we can do this, but, I'm gonna have to we could try to reach in and turn one." I was like, "Yeah, I don't think so." I was like, "What's our other options? What's
I
our
don't
other options?"
think so.
Yeah, I was
What
like,
else you got, Doc? Yeah.
yeah, it was like C-section because they were both sideways, and I was like,
Holy.
"Yeah, let's do the C-section. Let's do it." It's like nobody's
Wow.
reaching in,
So you had
and
to get an epidural and then that, or
I got a yeah, I got a spinal, and then I went in because I had it planned out. Like the C-section was totally planned, like
okay.
because I went in the weekend before, and he was just like, "They're just not turning now. They don't have room to really turn, so we can reach in and try to." And all I could think about is, what are you reaching in with? Like,
Your
are you
left
gonna
or your right? Yeah. Okay.
yeah, forceps? I mean, what are you doing? I mean, like, I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
good.
you got to get the salad spoons, man. You got to, do
I
the thing.
know. They're gonna leave
You
them
know,
up in there too. Like, oh, we just accidentally left that one. Whoops. Like, I
well,
don't
you
know.
got a sonogram and you knew you had twins, but everything seemed to be okay. And then they start to turn, like right before your water broke, like that? Was that
Well,
how it came about? Or
one was always sideways. Like, she
I
just
don't know
always
how.
sideways.
I don't know how a woman fits a human bowling ball, much less two, in her own body. They say men are the strongest people. Let me tell you something. We're a bunch of wimps. I mean, imagine carrying around a child. I would no, I would cry. I don't know
Oh my
how you do.
god.
No, women are way stronger. I don't care if anyone disagrees with me. I'm telling you, women are way stronger. And you had twins plus another one for your,
Oh
to
yeah.
compound your pleasure. So
Those
yeah, no, you're a lot tougher than we are. Let me tell you.
those kidney shots from the inside, they are no joke. They
I,
are
I'm
no
I'm getting
and
like this, like I haven't drank in like 12 years. All of a sudden, I'm ready to go run to the liquor store. This is crazy.
uh,
Anyway, that's well, thank goodness we do have to take a break before it becomes Tales from the Dark Side. But I'm just saying that it's,
ooh.
which is actually good. But now when there's actually someone that we know, um, but in any event, I mean, geez, you shouldn't candy coat it. Let's just just let it all hang out here. I told you guys, Ashley's going to say what. I mean, that takes a lot of courage because I don't know if it feels good to get it out and tell people. Some are strangers. You have my audience, you have your audience. Things that people know, people don't. There might be someone out there with a similar thing, and I don't know if they're typing the chat. We did real quick. We disengaged the line because I didn't want it to conflict with you telling us. So it's the first time you're on, and I'm sure you'll be on again. I'm sure people will want you to. But I didn't want that to conflict. I kept the chat open, but I didn't want calls to come in and kill your train of thought. So that's why we did that, just in case people were wondering. We do have to take a quick break, but it's interesting stuff. And when I say interesting, meaning, like I said, I didn't know any of those things, and now we all do. And I hope that people can get some probative value out of it because you feel. I mean, like when stuff like that happens to you, and then happened again, and then happen again, curveball after curveball, you feel isolated. I would assume, like you think that this is only happening to me,
Yep.
but that's not always the case. Maybe bits and pieces, but you had a lot of stuff. I mean, we're not even halfway done here. So I mean, it's the fact that you're sitting there and smiling and you know and talking about your stuff. I commend you for it. I'm not just saying that. I admire that. That takes a lot of guts, and you definitely have it, Ashley. I'm sure everyone will agree. I mean, you can see the people in the chat here; they're ready to like come over and bring you flowers and shit. So,
Well,
myself included. I'll send you like some emojis. That's all I can afford at this time. But it's
well, thank you.
you know.
That'll do. That'll do. Any thought that counts. It's the thought that counts.
I'll send you a tomato. I told you I like tomatoes, so those
Ooh,
are good,
yeah, send
and
me a
those are
tomato.
fun for the whole they're fun for the whole family. You could throw them. You could have your one daughter could be like the batter, and you could have, like, the catcher since they like, doing shit with hangers, and we could, like, knock them around the house.
Make them have a
Cool
tomato
stuff.
sandwich.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's gonna be like Monday Night Raw meets the Mean Machine. That sounds like a goddamn monster movie, but anyway,
It does.
we will, yeah, but, I'm into horror.
Yeah,
You want
there you
horror.
go.
Have you ever been to Jersey and see how much the toll hike is? That's horror.
Oh,
Anyway,
I
we're
bet
gonna
it
be
is.
right back. So Ashley will be back with us. Oh, yeah. Six WGAT. This is the Mean Machine Radio Show. You're watching live and listening live. So that's a good thing. We will be back. All right, so welcome back. For those that are just tuning in right now, we are live on New Jersey 88.6 WGAT. I am Gregory Joseph. This is the Meme Machine Radio Show, and we have our special remote guest. I call her Double A, Ashley from Alabama. Gotta get another one in there. Get Triple A, we got Double A. Yeah, I don't want to say AA too much. So anyway, um, well, we have it on there, and you have a lot of people that follow you on Twitter. I'm actually jealous. I mean, you got a lot. You have a big fan base going on there. That's Ashley's stuff. If you want to follow her on Twitter, and ask Miss Ash Bash. Wait, you know what? It's funny because, and I mentioned this to you a couple of times. I'm like, but when people look you up, like, oh, what a nice girl or whatever, and they look and your name is Mrs. Ashhole,
I
and
know.
you kind of throw everyone off. Like, and as soon as I saw that, I'm like, this chick's cool. Oh yeah,
Well, everybody's like, "What does that mean?" Oh, you're an asshole. I'm like, that doesn't even say asshole. It says ashhole. It's a nickname.
because
Okay.
nobody reads. Nobody reads.
No,
No,
it just
nobody reads. How many times did we put there? We have the ad going, right? And it
mm,
has where you could go in on Twitch, clearly on there, and YouTube, and then you're telling people, and then you still get people go, how do I see it? Well, read it.
I don't
And
know.
I
How
mean,
do you see it?
well, these are sometimes you get those people, those are the same people that, oh my God, I'm offended by that meme. I'm
Oh,
offended. Uh,
yeah.
please
People get
give me
offended
a
by
break.
memes. I'm like, really? I'm like, come on, give me a break. It's just
Like
funny. If I see
Buffalo
something
Bill
that,
said. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was just saying, like Buffalo Bill said from, from Silence of the Lambs. If you need thicker skin, I got some down in the basement. That kind of thing.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
So you have quite a story. You're only 37 and you've lived a lifetime and then some. But the fact
Oh
that
yeah.
you're here talking about it, and have you ever talked about? I'm sure you've maybe with maybe some close friends or family and stuff like that. That maybe that you've spoken to people about some or all of what you're mentioning to people right now. Um, now that we're live, but have you ever been on? Well, I know you weren't on the radio. You are now, so you could put that feather in your cap. But have you ever been this like where all these people are watching? And then when it goes on YouTube and Spotify and iHeartRadio and everything, even more people are going to know who you are. You're
Nope.
obviously okay with that.
Yep. No, nobody's heard all the story, and even the people who've heard some of it only hear bits and pieces.
That's what I mean. You're very courageous. You are. Not to overuse that word, but a lot of people be nervous, be like, I don't want to put my stuff out there or whatever. Look, you got one life to live, and why did you want to? When I asked you, and this is not scripted, people, by the way, I'm just asking this as a general thought. You didn't even hesitate. I was surprised. I was excited that you accepted the offer to come on, and you didn't really know me or anything at that time, and you it was like you were waiting, and then boom, you saw it as an opportunity, and you took it. Is there How was that? How did that come to be? Was it just the right time, right place, right time? What was that exactly? Can you tell me?
Yeah, well, I think I'm open to all experiences, and I thought this would be a neat one to have. And I'm tired of brushing everything under the rug, which people married to people with drug problems or other addictions, that's what we do. We brush everything under the rug. Everything gets hidden. Everything gets hidden. And I promised myself that I wouldn't do that anymore. And so that's part of it for me. I saw it as an opportunity to not hide anymore. One of the
Okay.
many that I'm having. So
I mean, and you didn't even know at the time. I mean, we were just like exchanging funny memes, and I kind of, I was like, "Oh, you're cool. Oh, you're cool." You know what I mean? We had like the similar, crazy kind of sense of humor, and I don't know what it was. And I reached out to some people, not a ton. There was a few, and you were one of them, obviously. But the fact that you're here now, and that it just seemed like it was, I had no idea that all this about you. Like I didn't know. I mean, in your bio, it says that your age and where you're at, and that you are a widow and everything. But that doesn't paint the whole picture. That doesn't tell the whole story. Only you can do that, and that's what you're doing right now. I just had that kind of feeling that you might had there was something more beyond the surface, and I was
oh
right, I
yeah.
guess. So
Oh yeah,
I'm glad.
there's a lot. It's probably
You're an
why
onion. You're
well,
an
I'm
onion,
not
a lot
such
of layers.
I'm not an a-hole. Like I'm really not online and stuff. And so, but there's a few people who think I'm an asshole. I'll tell you that, but
Oh
it's usually
well,
because they deserve it. But
you're always going to get knuckleheads. You think I don't get them? Please.
Oh my
It's
god.
just it's about like, "Oh, look at me," like a little kid, whether it's positive or negative attention. I just want attention, you know what I mean? And I
Oh,
suck,
yes.
but I'm gonna divert my suckiness onto you and point the finger at you. You know what Michael Jackson said? Look, take a look at the man in the mirror first, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you know, what do they have going on? Their life sucks ass. So let me jump on Ashley because I don't like the way this or what you
Oh,
know what?
man.
I don't want to say, but you know what I'm talking about. And
I know exactly what you're talking about, yeah.
there's a lot of good people out there, and those are the people that I hope that are watching and listening because there might be someone that's half your age that might be going through something similar. I mean, what do they do?
Absolutely.
Do they call like the hotline? I mean, people like, oh, call this number for this. Does that help? I mean, I don't know.
They're not gonna do it. I mean, like, I can speak from personal experience. That's the most embarrassing thing you can do. And for the few that do actually do that and follow through, I mean, and actually follow through, um, I've seen them go back. I mean, it's almost like they disrupt their world just to go back straight to it and get treated even worse. So, but I mean, by all means, please use the numbers. I mean, but
But
I
do they
feel like
work? Is there someone that actually cares on that side, or are they just kind of like you said before, just punching a clock and or I mean, are they
I'm gonna be
sincere?
honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. They're not sincere. I mean, you might get one person, one or two, but no. I mean, they don't even want to be there doing it, and you'll get the same generic message, just like when you call the suicide hotline. You just get the same generic. Just go to the ER. So, I mean, like by the end of it. So, I don't think they help very much. I think maybe seeking a friend, somebody you really trust, and who can maybe help you if you're really ready to leave. If you're really ready to leave, see if they can help you because that's really the best thing because you're going to need a support system. You're going to need those friends. You're going to need people around you. Um,
I mean, it's tough enough to make the call, and then if someone's not being sincere, they feel twice as crappy after they hang up, and that's why you said it. You just hit the nail on the head. You need a support system. You need some kind of a, yeah, I don't know how
you
to
do. I mean,
honest.
you need that. I mean, if I didn't have my friends throughout the death process, I mean, I would have been lost, like completely lost. But thank goodness I do have a good support system. It's not many of them, but I have a couple good support people, and they've helped me a lot.
It's about
Josh,
quality, not quantity, right?
right, exactly. And poor Josh's mom, she towards the end there, I mean, even she was, can't I give him part of my liver? Can't I give him part of my liver? And
Oh wow.
it was just a non-accepting thing, but I accepted it towards the end there, and I had friends there with me to help me out, and we had several conversations of, this is not going to backpedal. He's not going to get better, and that
Did
was
you
really
know
hard.
that, like, or you just felt it, or is this like a
No,
combination of
I knew it. The
you
doctors
did?
told. Yeah, the doctors. Every doctor we spoke to told us. There was one doctor who was mixed messages. He was like, "Oh no, 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 he'll be fine," and then all the other doctors were like, "No, no, he will not be fine."
So who do you
Um,
trust? I mean,
I
these are
know.
doctors, they're MDs.
Oh,
Like, what do you like? Just spin the wheel, and I
that's
don't.
how it
That's
felt.
I can imagine
I
it's got
was
to be
literally like,
rough.
this isn't a 5 minute period. I'm not even joking. The 5 minute period, we were downstairs in his room talking to the specialty doctor, and she was telling us that we need to prepare for hospice. We need to get everything ready and start preparing for hospice. And then I go upstairs to talk to the liver doctor, and he's like, no, no, why? No. And then I go back downstairs and talk to the doctor again, the other one, the specialty doctor, and she's like, no, he's going to have to go home on hospice. And he did. I mean, he ultimately did.
So you're getting conflicting information.
Oh, that was crazy. That was not fun at all. Um, so not only that, we had all the stress, and then the nurses were telling the girls they can't cry in the room and all that stuff. And I was like, well, I mean,
Wait,
I'm
but
sorry.
hold on a second. They said they can't cry in the room. They're little
Yeah.
girls. That's their mom. What are they supposed to do? Have a party?
Well, well, and with Josh, that was we knew what was going on, and they knew that he wasn't going to get better. You know, so I was, yeah, they didn't want
Mm,
him to realize his mortality. That's what it was. And I was like, well, it's kind of time that he realizes his mortality, considering we're right here at the end of it.
right.
But
That's tough for an adult to deal with, much less a child. And we're not talking about an uncle or an aunt. Not that that's any less. I'm talking about their father. Talk about their
yeah,
mom. You're not. This is your immediate. It doesn't get more immediate than that. I would be petrified. I'd be terrified. I'd cry
Absolutely.
too. I mean, what do you want them to keep it in? Yeah, that works. That does not bode well for a lot.
Oh, yeah, I
Um,
just told her there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, because there's not
yeah.
anything I could do about it, and I'm just grateful they were letting them in because they weren't supposed to be letting my little one in back there. She was not of age, but they were letting her because he was in such bad condition.
What is the age? They have to be 18 or something. Or
13.
they have to be 13. So how old were they at the time?
Well, the twins were 14 and she was 8, so
Oh,
I
okay,
just
right.
they just let her scooch on by because he was in a bad way. Like, that's what we kept getting told. Like, we got told basically every day he could pass today. So it was really not something that I expected. He'd been in the hospital before for all this stuff, so I really did expect him to come home at first.
You honestly did. Okay.
I did, yeah, I really did. He's been in the hospital for all this before. Not liver damage, but I mean, he obviously already had it anyways.
All right.
But yeah, so I really did expect him to come. I think we all did.
So this was September. This past
Mhm.
September.
Yep.
What going back to January, which not that I want you to have to think about it, but you did mention it. Why did you think that was your only recourse was to take your own life? I mean, did you not do it because of your
Looking
kids or what was it?
looking back on it now, I think it was just a split second decision. It really wasn't something that I did over a course of even 10 minutes. It's something that I did in the course of like 2 to 3 minutes, and it was literally looking back now, the situation was he was on a rampage again, and I guess I was going to end it one way or another, and so I did that, and it ended it for that night. But
Hmm.
I ended up going to the hospital, and it was not a fun experience for me. It's not something I definitely wanted to do. Trust me, I was beyond sick for 5 days in the ICU. So that was eye opening, not where I wanted
Would
to
that
be.
like pump your stomach kind of thing, or not to bring up, but
They just gave me medication that made me throw up. No, like, it wasn't like chalk or anything like that. It was like saline. It was just IV fluid. So I guess
oh,
probably.
to induce okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, that was really not fun at all. That was horrifying. Ugh.
yeah, I can't imagine. I don't know. I mean, at first glance, like I said, you're an onion. And what I mean by that is you make me cry. No, yeah, I mean by you're an onion and you have a lot of layers. And the more that you peel back from it, there's so much. But the fact that I'll say it again, not to reiterate, but I have to. The fact that you seem, I wouldn't say comfortable, but you're just like you've been doing this for as long as I have. Like you don't seem like you have zero fear. I mean, that is far and few between. Once again, I commend you for it because uh, I don't know if it's going to help people, but it's like therapeutic. Is it work? Does it help to talk about it? Like, does it feel like you're lessening the load, like a weight has been lifted, or is it just that's the way you've been for 2 months? Or tell me.
No, it does. It feels like a weight's lifted. Every time I
Good.
say anything that people don't know about, I feel like a weight's lifted. Like, I have so many stories that I just randomly throw out there with people, and they have no idea where it's coming from. And I'm like, yep, I just thought about that. But I mean, it's just getting it out because there's so many things. Do you know I've had biscuits thrown at me
You've had what?
when I've had biscuits thrown at me when he's been drunk. I mean, like,
Biscuits? You
I
said?
have so many biscuits, yes, biscuits.
Oh, biscuits. Well, yeah, this
Because
is Jersey. We mispronounce everything. Water is a warder.
oh,
And a diploma is a
how do
diploma. So,
how do you
if there's
pronounce
something wrong with
it?
your pipes, you call it a diploma. How do I say what? Biscuits? Just the way
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never actually
Oh,
seen a grit. If you saw my cousin Vinny, he goes, yeah, sure.
oh
I've
my
seen
God.
them. I've actually never had a grit, but that's for another
Grits
day.
are
But
good. I like grits with sugar.
okay. Hey, look. That's fine. Yeah, we have grits too. It's called pizza, but it's to each his own. I mean, that's cool. I mean, I lived in Florida for years, and that's not considered like deep South. That's but Alabama and places like that. I've been to Georgia, and people like. I mean, there's a good comfort food down there. There's no doubt.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Oh my
You know.
goodness. Let's talk about
Oh, that's
food.
got to. That's good. Well, I mean, it's the fact that you've been not once. I mean, it's hard enough, I'm sure, to be a widow, to have to go through it twice, and then you're going to have twins, and then you're going to have another child, and then you have domestic violence, then you're surrounded with alcoholism and more violence, and then hospice, and then the thing that happened in January, and then your kids seeing this stuff and them having to go into therapy. I mean, this is a lot for 10 people to juggle, much less one person to do so. And it's not like you're 67 looking back on this. You're
Yeah.
37 and looking back in the same calendar year. I mean,
It
2023 has been a humongous turd, like you said,
it
to say it
has.
lightly.
It has been terrible, and, this is not even I just reconnected with my dad this past year too, so that's been nice,
Okay.
but, I didn't meet him till I was 17, so we have a rocky relationship, but given everything that's been going on, he's actually been a really big help.
17 you were before is your mom around or?
Yep. She passed away she passed away actually 8 years ago. Yeah, she had, anaphylactic shock.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry.
Went in for a penicillin shot and just was allergic to whatever combination or whatever. She'd had penicillin shots before,
Yeah, I'm
so no,
actually allergic to penicillin.
it's
So,
scary.
yeah.
I mean,
Jeez.
so
I
there-
Is there any good news, Ashley, or because
yeah, there's
I'm
good
keeping
news.
all the sharp stuff away because I'm ready to, but and I'm making light of it because some people it's uncomfortable for them to hear, but sometimes it's one of those things where you don't want to hear it, but you have to, and
Yeah.
you're not talking spiritually, and you're not talking hypothetically. There's no hyperbole here or anything. This is really you. This is Ashley's life story, but the story's not done.
Oh
You know,
no.
it's not done, and you're going forward. And like I said before, I commend you for that because you have every reason to just dump into a bottle. The hell with my kids, or let me be a mega bitch. And my mom is gone, and my dad is a rock relationship. And where was he when I needed him? And your kids are. You have every reason to be one of these scumbag type of and I say it that way very very loosely, but I mean as a parent myself, I had no leg to stand on until I became a parent. But prior to that, man, you had every reason to divert back, and you didn't.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you just dusted yourself off several times, and you went forward. You defeating things with your mind. Not
I
easy to
don't
do, is it?
No, it's not, but I don't know what else to do. It's either sit there and wallow or move on, or at least do your best to try to move in a direction.
Well, like they say, it's either you get busy living or get busy dying.
Yep.
There's no middle ground with that, and I think I speak for everyone that's in the chat and your friends, your family, and people watching and listening. And I'm glad you're here. I'm glad
Oh,
that didn't happen. I
me
don't know if people say, "Oh, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger." Yeah, that might be true, but goddamn, it really wears you down a little bit. I would
It
think. No, I mean,
does. It does. I mean, trust me, when Josh was sick, I knew he was going to die. We'd all talked about it. I think I stayed in bed for like 3 days, just why me again? I did that. I had my time. I took my time to be upset and go through all that, but I had to get back to everything because the kids. I didn't have time
right?
to wallow. I mean, because it's not their fault, and that
No,
was
of
my
course
big.
not.
I just wanted them to make sure they were okay. As long as they're okay, I can deal with my crap when I get the time.
Well, you
And
love
I've
your
got my time.
kids, obviously. I mean, that's right. You put their thoughts and feelings ahead of your own. That's love, right? I
Oh
mean,
yeah, oh yeah. I mean,
good for you.
they're buttholes. They are. I'm not gonna lie to you, but There's
But
not
they're
people
your
that love
buttholes.
exactly, exactly. They're
And you
mine.
got now you have 4. If I mean, I'm not a math wizard, but right, you have your own individual one and then 3, that's 4 buttholes. That's a lot of buttholes,
Oh,
actually.
yeah, that is a lot of buttholes. I'm not gonna get into it, but my kids actually have names for theirs.
No,
Yeah.
I'd like to know right now, actually.
Okay.
What do they
Well,
name it? Like Mr.
my
Smiley or what do we got?
Bob. We got Bob. We've got I forget what the middle one calls hers, and just the other one's little Nene. So yeah, so whenever one of them farts, she's like, "Bob said hi." I'm like, "Oh my god." No, the
Oh,
other twin doesn't really get into it as much, but boy, Twin B does. Twin B loves it,
that's awesome. I'm
and
sick though. You can't go by me, but I just that's kind of awesome, and then
yeah, well,
eventually
they have
they'll
names
name other
for
pot.
yes,
What's
they
that?
have a name for mine. They've named mine, and
Oh,
they have a name for their dads. It was Susan with their dads, and then
that I don't
Guava.
want to know how that happened, but okay,
I don't either. No, I think he just probably passed gas on them one time, and then they started going off naming buttholes. This is a them
gotcha.
thing. Yeah, it's one of those weird things they do together.
Got a lot of things going on in that house. You might have to get those Le Mans class stickers. Hello, my name is, because you got a lot of names floating around that house there. You
Yes,
know,
we do. Oh
I
my
forgot
god.
what comedian was it that said, I don't remember your name, but you live here, and I'll find out who you are. You know,
That's how it is around
unbelievable.
here.
Well, I
Oh
mean,
my gosh.
does it come like, okay, so all kids argue and come on, with twins. I mean, they're arguing when they're probably asleep, but like, how does the third one, your third daughter, like, how does she? We'll have to number them. You go twin, thing one, thing two, and then number three,
Yeah,
because I can't keep track anymore. There's just too many kids.
yeah,
Um, how do you like? Is it more like between them and then the third one's just kind of sitting with popcorn watching this, or does she go in like head first on this stuff?
oh no, she usually starts it.
Oh, she'll stir the pot and then walk away
Oh
and
yeah,
watch it simmer.
oh yeah, no, no, she'll
I
still be
like
in the
her
middle of
already, actually.
yes, I hear a lot of screaming from her. You never let me talk. So I guess she's trying to say something in the middle, but I stay out of it. I'm like, y'all have to figure that stuff out.
Visual aids, Ashley. Visual aids. It's cheap dollar
Um,
store stuff. Tell
yeah,
them, say, look, I don't have the time or the crayons to explain this to you right now. Just go to a neutral corner, take a lap, do something.
yeah,
I
I
don't know.
wish
That's
they
how I
would.
do.
Oh my gosh,
Everybody,
I had
just
two of
everyone
them.
take a lap. Yeah.
The little one and twin B were arguing going into the store earlier. I swear to God, I was like, oh my God, why? And they were like, she was going to tell me to move. And the other one's like, there was a car. There was a car coming. No, there wasn't. So this is what we did the whole way into the store. They argued about whether or not one was going to get run over. I'm like, seriously? That's what we're arguing about now.
Arguing about who was next.
Yeah, who was gonna get run over? That's what it was. Just
So you got like
she wasn't.
Final Destination and Alabama style down there, right?
I
Like the
guess
movie Final
so.
Destination.
And it's like when we went to
It's
look at
great.
side by sides, and my twins are sitting there going, "How many bodies do you think we could fit in the back of this?" And then they
God, I love
climbed
your
in the back
kids.
of it. Oh yeah, they climbed in the back of it, curled up, and they were like, "Well, if we get them curled up, we could fit two." I was like, "Oh
I have some jobs when they get older. You know where I'm from, and
my god." Oh yeah,
yeah, so we constantly, like my advice to, when my son was like 6, and be like, if you're going to keep a bat in the car, in case you get pulled over, make sure that there's a glove, a mitt with it. That way you can explain why that's in the car. I mean, this is my
yeah,
thought process because I have a screw loose, but that's kind of funny. How big is this trunk? Yeah, I have some work for them. Anyway, yeah, because I have a long list. It's long and distinguished. Um, no, but it sounds like they will, if not already, they're in the midst of giving it time, become well adjusted, and it might be not to supersede the fact, but the fact that this didn't happen when they're 24 or 25, that it happened when they're one was 8, twins were 14. There's still enough gap, in my opinion, that they could forget some of this stuff. What do you think? I mean, they're right on the cusp. Had
I
they been a
think so.
little younger, they might not remember anything. But
Yeah,
what do you think?
I think so. I think especially that 8-year-old, she's not going to remember much. And I do think the older girls aren't going to remember too much. They'll remember some of the stuff, but I think it'll be replaced by good memories, and hopefully they won't
Right.
remember too much of the bad, because there's been a lot of bad. He's been going hard for so many years now. So,
Yeah. I mean, it's you had to get yourself out of a certain situation. And people say, and I'm sure you've heard this because everybody's got to weigh in, right? This is what you
mhm.
should have done. This is what you could have done. Speculating all day long.
Oh, yeah.
But when it comes down to it, they couldn't have done Ugats. That's what I say in Jersey. They couldn't do shit. You know what I mean? And the fact that there's no playbook, there's no manual. You can't stop a lot of these things from happening to you. The only thing you have any type of control over would be how you deal with what happens to you. I would assume that rings true for your
Right.
life, past and present, and going forward. I mean, do you
Absolutely.
agree with that? Okay.
Absolutely. 100%.
I mean, it's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing that you're here. And I keep being repetitive, but I can't. I'm not impressed often. I am though, because you seem so. I mean, you're comfortable in your own skin now, and maybe for the first time in a long time, unless I'm
Mhm.
completely misreading it.
No,
That
no,
says a
absolutely.
lot. It does, actually. It says a lot about who you are, and your kids are strong. You're strong. You're a good mother, not because I feel like I should say you're a good mother because you made them Maypo or whatever and gave them a
Yeah,
hot meal. That's not being a mother. You know what I mean? Well, it is. But you know what I mean? This stuff, the
yeah.
hard stuff, the fact that you're not going to try to hide it. Hey, they walk into your bedroom, mommy, can you tell me blah, blah, blah? And that's on their mind. Now, you could either do one of two things: bury it, or actually three things: lie about it, which the first two I can tell already. I can read you that that's not, you don't strike me as the kind of person that's going to do that. You'll try to, what was the word you used earlier when you were giving it to them, but gradually, like what did you say?
Oh, age appropriate? Or
It's a 10-cent word and a 20-cent
oh,
answer, man. You're killing me, Ashley.
I know.
No, I mean in a good way.
Oh,
Obviously, you're much smarter than I am, but that's got to be the fact that you're fine. Now you got to do that in a split second because kids read right through that, right? I mean, they're going to know,
oh,
oh, she's
yeah.
bullshitting us, or she's trying to lighten
Yeah,
the
they
load, or
they call bullshit real quick.
that's because they're smart. If they didn't pick up on that, you should be concerned that they're not picking up on it, but they are.
Yeah.
And so you have to go that extra mile. This is the stuff that I didn't sign up for this, and I'm sure you didn't either.
Oh, no,
But
I
you
did
have
not.
to, how can they be well adjusted unless you are? They stem their strength from their mom.
They do. And
That's you.
somebody has to be here. And that's another thing I keep telling them. My friends probably hate me now. I'm always like, "You need to stop smoking." Like, I just
Eh,
recently quit for good. Like, don't touch anything because I'm like, well, the next thing I'm gonna get is I'm gonna get lung cancer. Watch. I'm like, that's just gonna be my luck now. So I'm like, I've got to watch out for myself. But my friends are all like, well, I've got my best friend doesn't smoke, so it doesn't matter. She thinks it's
Yeah,
fun.
you know what? Just like any other thing, whether they say it's a disease or this, that, but as far as smoking is concerned, you could do a million things. The bottom line on that is if you don't want to quit, you won't. It doesn't matter what
Oh
anyone
no.
else says, does,
Yeah.
what you read. If you don't want to, you won't. Right?
Oh,
I mean,
right. I will say I would have rather Josh be smoking cigarettes than drinking, though. I mean, if I had to pick an addiction, it definitely wouldn't be drinking, which I don't know why everybody's like, it's so readily available. It really ticks me off that you
of
can
course
literally
it
go
is.
in anywhere. I mean, anywhere
Liquor
and buy.
stores everywhere, right? There is up
Yep.
here. You can't spit and not hit one.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I would rather be on the road with somebody who just smoked a joint as opposed to somebody who just drank a pint, you know?
Well, it's bad for you, and alcohol is a drug. I mean, cigarettes are
Yeah.
stimulants, but you want to know why it's so widespread? And I'm sure you could figure this one out if I gave you enough time. Why? What are the two things? What is the one thing that you'll find on a bottle of liquor and the bottom of a cigarette pack? What do you find? A tax stamp.
Oh, you do. Yep.
Yeah. So the state, the municipality, the counties, the government, everybody, they're making money. So it's not that it's bad for you, and and I mean, come on, during COVID, not to go into open up this can of worms, we can't open this store, we can't open this part of the hospital. Fucking liquor stores were open almost 24/7 here in Jersey. Now I don't drink, but it really wasn't about safety. It was about the root of all evil, money. And they say, well, people
Mhm.
only say that because the people that don't have it. But honestly, love is supposed to make the world go around. Unfortunately, I believe that it's money that's doing that. Knowing the difference is
Mhm.
half the battle.
It
But
is.
think about that. It's legal because it's
Yeah,
taxed.
it is. It
Right.
totally is.
It's taxed. I mean, cigarettes will kill you. Diabetes will kill you. I like what CVS did. We will not sell cigarettes anymore, right? But you have 16 aisles of candy that'll give you diabetes, and people die more from diabetes than they do from lung cancer. It is a fact. Look it up. They're not going to say that though.
Oh, of course
Uh,
not. No,
some
no, no, no.
bullshit. Who do you trust anymore? It's you have to make your own informed decisions. But them, meaning your children, are going to look to you. They're going to follow your lead because as a parent, you know it isn't what you say; it's what you do.
Yes,
You know,
it
you can't
is.
say don't smoke and then sit there and have a cigarette. Well, now you're the world's biggest hypocrite.
Oh
So
yeah.
on a daily basis, we have to take one more break. But I wanted to ask real quick. You're very. Are you worried? All mothers worry. My mom still worries about me. Is it? Are you worried that your kids? Not that they wouldn't be well adjusted. Are you worried about repercussions? You know, like if somebody drinks and then they beat their kids, like their kids will grow up and drink and then beat their kid. Does that ever go through your mind? I'm sure it does, but do you worry
Um,
about stuff like that, or am I completely off base?
no, I do worry about stuff like that. I worry about, I worry about the girls even drinking ever, knowing how bad of an alcoholic their dad was. Um,
So you
yeah,
think it's in the genes? You're
I
saying?
do. I do. I think that there's something in the genes. I mean, his brothers are all alcoholics or have some form of addiction. Um, I know it runs on his mom's side of the family. So yeah, it worries me a
I've
lot.
always, yeah, I figured you would. It's not so much rhetorical. I just wanted to hear you kind of say it, but I kind of already knew the answer to that
Yeah.
one because you're a real mom. You worry about stuff. Once again,
Oh God.
others' thoughts and feelings are ahead of your own. That's what true love is, right? For your
You
kids,
know
for your
how it,
spouse, for whatever.
you know how it is. It's like you don't worry about anything but yourself, and then all of a sudden you have a kid,
When you're
and
using
now,
too, right? I mean,
what? Oh, I don't know. Just I'm sure I wasn't using, but for me, it was I worried about myself completely, honestly, until I had a kid. And then now it's literally like I worry about them 24/7. I can
yeah, no,
see
I
it
didn't
now
mean
when
that
they're
you
like
were.
35. I'm still,
No, no, I'm sorry. I just wanted to. No, I didn't mean that you were. I'm saying like your husband, that kind of thing. Like sometimes it's that
oh,
selfish point of view, like that kind of thing. No, I wasn't saying that. I mean,
yeah. Oh,
if
yeah.
you want to, why not? I mean, roll the dice. Ashley, you're ahead of the game. You're playing with house money as far as I'm concerned. but it's,
Let's just
but
see what happens.
sure, yeah, that works out so well. Um, oh boy, I tell you what, you're gonna have to do your memoirs, and I'll narrate it for free. You
Okay.
write it, I'll narrate it. And that'll be the end of that, and then
Sounds good to me.
I could afford a better microphone. But in any event, yeah, I have three. They all suck. But I just wanted to ask that because before we go to break, you worry about your kids, but it's not. Can you tell people if there's a young lady or even a guy, whatever, that's going through something similar? Because I'm sure we keep speculating, but I'm sure that that's the case. When we get back, I want you to be able to, before we wrap it up, to be able to maybe give, I guess you could say advice, but you're
Okay.
coming right from you, not the generic version like what I did for that girl Dee Dee earlier. That was not a
Yeah.
generic thing. That was, let me skip through the bullshit, and you don't need another person blowing sunshine up your ass, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows type of thing. Let me
Yeah.
just be, tactful, but let me tell you what really is the story. I think people would appreciate that a lot more. Tougher to hear, but a lot better to know. You could do that,
Absolutely.
right? I know you
Oh
can.
yeah, I can.
I know you can. All right. Before we go to break, I have a visual aid myself here. I'm going to. We will be back with Ashley, obviously. But here's a little something. Now I know that this, and now look, there's a lot of people that are watching and listening, and this is for parents and for just regular people in general. All right. Now, if you have your Halloween stuff still up, your decorations. I'm actually kind of cool with that. I mean, my grandmother used to put stuff out for Easter, and we didn't even take it down. It was like fucking Christmas or whatever. So it's totally cool with me. But so I want to make sure that people. This is just a little something that I put together. Okay, so here it is. October 31st, kids come and get candy. It's okay. November 1st to October 30th, kids come get some candy. Not okay. You guys got that out there, and that's for ice cream trucks and drive-bys too. So let's you know let's review. October 31st, kids come to my house, get some candy. Okay. November 1st to October 30th. Kids, come and get some kids. Not okay. Visual aid. There you go. Lighten the mood a little bit. Keep up your damn decorations. You can wear a Michael Myers mask 24/7. I don't really care. But for all the children out there that better not be watching the show, I'm sure they're all doing their homework right now. And for the other parents out there, like I said, that goes for ice cream trucks, people wearing raincoats, and of course the people that they have that flicker. And there's the good uncle and there's the bad uncle. The bad uncle always has the better candy. Fuck it. You know what I mean? That's just remember what I said. October 31st, okay. The rest of the year, not okay. Someone said, "What's wrong with you, Greg?" I said, "A lot." Me Machine Radio. New Jersey 88. EAT. When we come back, we're going to wrap it up with Double A, Ashley from Alabama. I mean, I know you guys are digging her out there. I mean, she's stronger than all of you put together, and me too. So she deserves to come back. So we will have her back. All right, so we're going to take a little break. Be back in Cinco. Don't go away. 88.6 WGAT on your Sunday afternoon. We're back. Welcome back to the Mean Machine Radio Show. We are live from the Great Garden State. We have Ashley from Alabama. She has been our remote guest, and she's been very gracious. And she's pretty much bearing her soul out here to letting it all fly. I hope you guys and girls out there can appreciate when someone, real people, real things that are happening. We're not talking about you're writing, a book here. This isn't Harry Potter or something. This is really your life. I mean, this is your life, and before we wrap it up, I wanted to say not only thank you, but if there's people that are going through the same type of thing that you are or have been, I mean, you said you need a support system. What if there's people that are, there's got to be people that are scared,
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what do you say? What's your best advice to them? I mean, your own personal advice
Yeah,
on
my own
on
personal advice on the
yeah.
suicide stuff, if you feel like you need help, go get it. You don't need anybody else. Just go straight to the hospital. It sucks. It feels demeaning. It's terrible. It feels like, but it's not. And that's my biggest advice to anybody. Just go to the hospital. Sometimes it's okay to take that little break that you need to get yourself back together. And nobody should say anything bad about it. And if they do, they just don't understand. And as far as abusive relationships go, honestly, if you're in a relationship like mine was, you need to just get out. And it's so much easier said than done. When they're not going to change, and you know they're not going to stop drinking, you just need to get out. You need to get out as fast as possible because nothing got better. Nothing got any better. It all got worse. And
So
it's so much.
it's I mean, it sounds like it's a lot of bravery involved, but
It
I
is,
guess
but
people are stronger than they think that they might be until they're put in that situation. Was that what happened with you? You didn't realize until you dug deep and said, "Okay, I can."
yeah, when you okay,
You're saying it, but doing it, two different things, right? I mean,
right. They have this old phrase, one day you'll be sick and tired of being sick and tired. And people in my position, you know what that means. Like, you know what that means. Like, you get to a point to where you are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And at that point, it's just over. And you know it's over. You know it's over in your heart before you even say it out loud. So that's the first step. The second step is finding somebody that you trust, that you can tell. The third step is trying to get things lined up because not everybody has the means to just leave. The third
right.
thing is, the last thing is just getting out. And that's the hardest part. And if you don't have anywhere to go, that's another hard part. I didn't have anywhere to go. That's why we lived together. And it was rough too.
Well, that's a
Really,
spot decision. I mean, and then you have to. Some people would have to say, "Well, I got to grab my kids too and get them out of a situation." Might be a little bit different, but
yeah.
very similar to what you're talking
And
about. I mean,
there are shelters, but you know what I found? I've talked to a lot of friends, and a lot of shelters have like a maximum capacity, and a lot of times they don't have space when you need it. And so there's got
that's
to be some other support systems, but I don't feel like there are. Usually, you have DHR and CPS and all that, but all they want to do is take your children. They don't really want to help you. That's my experience in it. You can call them for help, but their main priority is going to be, well, we need to remove the children. But if you're asking for help, it seems like they just don't know what to do with you. Like, not that I've been
really.
in that specific situation, but I know somebody who has. And so I see a lack of concern for people in the situation I was in. And a lot of times they're like, well, they obviously here because they want to be here. They haven't left. And that's so not true. That's so not true. I know so many people who wanted to leave and couldn't, and just literally couldn't. And these men,
Because they
some of
had
them,
nowhere to go. You're
right.
saying there was no. I mean, that's got to be. I can only imagine. So it's either do I take the lumps if that's what's going on, or whatever, because I have nowhere to go, and that other person might or might not know that you have nowhere to go, so you have to deal with it, or she'll stay because her kids are here, and yeah, once again, it puts you in an untenable situation. It's being able
Right.
to think on your feet. That's what street smarts is. In case people don't know, Ashley, I'm sure you can tell them, it has nothing to do with just, oh, I have to learn how to fight and everything. There's book smarts in the street. Street
Yeah.
smarts is knowing what to say, what not to say, and obviously
Yeah.
thinking, like making spot decisions, thinking on your feet. That's what street smarts is for those who don't know. And I'm sure
Yep.
you will agree with that. And you obviously have them. I don't know if it's something that develops or if it's something that's done under duress. I mean, you
I
made a
don't
lot of decisions under duress, right? I mean,
absolutely, I did. Most of my decisions were made under duress. Up until he passed, honestly, I haven't had a fresh breath of air, and I'm not saying that like I'm happy he passed and all this other stuff. There was just so much complications with him and what he was doing. I didn't even get into the whole he's gotten DUIs, he's gotten hit and runs. I mean, like
hit and runs. Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
he's a whole big mess, and so and walking on eggshells every day. Trust me, it's been a breath of fresh air not having to do that. Like we're not constantly hiding around the corner hoping that we don't say the wrong thing.
So, are you at any point in your life? I mean, right now it's hard to see the future. The future is now, they say. But do you see yourself with another man eventually? Like, I mean, bringing another person, another male, in that capacity into your or and your children's life? That's going to be, I would think that would be difficult. I mean, you would be fearful. Not that the guy's not a nice guy or whatever, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's, I'm guessing that I don't know how. Is that something where you're not going to know unless it just happens? You can't really study up for something like that. What do you
Uh,
think about that?
I'm thinking no. Honestly,
Okay.
I've been married twice now, and I just don't see a point. I mean, I'm not saying that I won't have, a partner to have relations with at some point because I am human, but that doesn't mean I'm going to bring them into my fold.
So it wouldn't be
That,
another, I don't want to get married again, but I wouldn't mind having, go out and have dinner with
yes,
a nice guy and someone that can be eventually around your children. Obviously, you don't want to bring people in and out of your
right.
kids' lives. I get that. I knew that without saying, because I mean everyone has needs, but I'm not talking about sexually. I'm talking about the camaraderie,
Yes, I think so.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think eventually, not anytime soon, but do think eventually I will. And, it's not really anything I'm looking for though right now or anytime soon. Obviously, you would know
Well,
that.
that's when it happens, Ash.
Yeah,
If you're
well,
not looking for it. Cupid's got his thing, he's a little bastard, that Cupid kid. But I was just curious about that because obviously you have a lot to give. There's a lot left in the tank. I could hear it in your voice. I could see it in your eye. The eyes don't lie. You know what I mean? And you're not sitting right next to me. And but I can see. And those that I mean, you would want someone to know how wonderful you really are and what you've overcome and the fact that your kids are not growing. I mean, you're in the trenches, baby. I mean, you are doing your thing and the kids have got to go to school and I got to do work. And I believe you said you do stuff like for your family and that kind of thing.
yeah,
You're constantly busy, right? You don't have
always.
time to dwell on what was.
Nope.
You're going to use it to say, well, you know what? I have to go forward. You can't go forward if you keep looking back, right? So
That's so true, and it rings true, and and I feel like if I were to constantly hang back and be fixated on all the bad, then the kids would be too. And
right.
I'm not trying to
Right.
do that to them.
You want them to be happy and well adjusted and healthy and pray every night, whether you're religious or not. It doesn't matter. The fact
Yeah.
that, whoever someone's higher being is, I mean, that there's got to be, please show us the way. You know what I mean? Please, you know, I've always been the type of person. I'm not a religious guy. I'm Catholic, but I'm not a religious guy. And I would always ask for things for other people, family, friends,
Yeah.
wisdom, vision, strength, accountability, intelligence, compassion, and it seemed like if people did that, it kind of, it goes around.
It
You know what I
does.
mean? Like, in other
I
words, you
agree.
don't ask for stuff for yourself. People are asking for you, and that's the paying it forward type of part. I picture you
Yeah.
as that type of person.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, that's, I mean, you
Absolutely.
obviously have a lot in the tank, and I don't know how, if your kids know how wonderful you are. I'm sure everybody that's been watching and listening obviously know there's more than meets the eye. It's more than just a bunch of funny, memes, and
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
there's a real person there, and I'm glad I met you, and I'm sure that we'll definitely have to have you back on a future show if you want to be. I'm sure they want. I mean,
Absolutely.
we would do a poll, but who gives a don't give a shit what they want anyway. So no, you get what I'm saying. In other
Yes.
words, one final thought. So if somebody is in a situation and they need help. Do they it's not selfish. Actually, I'm using the wrong word. Is it okay to yeah, it's okay to care about your kids and to care about it, but it's not selfish to care about and love yourself,
No,
right?
it's
Can you
not.
tell people
No,
about that? I mean, you have to love yourself.
absolutely. If you don't care about yourself, then you don't care about your kids because you're the one who have to get them where they need to be and everything they need to be doing. You're the one in charge. So if you don't care about yourself, you can't care for the kids. And so I've learned that the hard way. Like I said, I laid in bed for 3 or 4 days, just not doing anything for the kids. And right after he passed, it was doing no good. It was doing no good for anybody. I wasn't caring for myself. I wasn't eating. I wasn't doing anything. But I jumped out and made myself eat, made myself get up, made myself go do stuff.
And why? Why did that happen? Like no more self-loathing, no more that like was there something that just
And,
clicked in your head and said this is what I should be doing? I don't need to be told. Is that how it
well,
came about?
it did kind of. I just saw how miserable the kids were being because I'm usually up doing everything. Not everything, but
Yeah.
I'm usually up, taking care of stuff. And I don't know, it just clicked in me that this is not how I have to handle things. I have to do things better. And so I did. That's exactly what I did. Anything that I thought I should be doing, that's what I did. Anything I didn't want to do and I should be doing, I did it anyways.
Then you worry
So,
about the other stuff later, but you knew you had to do something. Something in your mind was
right.
saying, I got to do this. It's good for your soul and for
Absolutely.
the benefit. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. None of us do. But the fact that I don't take any chances with my soul, and I'm sure you don't either, and the fact that perhaps one day when it is our time, people, you'd be looked upon favorably because of that. I believe that you should, because people like you that are willing to help others, like if someone came to you or they knew or they saw this, that's quite possible. They might see, and they don't want it to come up in the chat or something like that or on a call, but they might reach out to you or DM you or something, which put your thing back on there. You wouldn't hesitate to try to. I mean, to have it incumbent upon you to have to give them advice, but you don't want to not do it either. How do you think, in closing, like how do you think that's how do you go about that? I don't even know how to put it in words.
I would honestly talk to them.
You would.
I mean, sometimes just having a conversation with somebody will help clarify everything for yourself. Like, I don't want to tell people what to do or what they should do, but sometimes just having that conversation with an outside person, it helps clarify stuff for yourself. I had conversations where I was talking to myself basically, but I was talking to a friend, and it just being able to get that out there and verbalizing the stuff, it really helped me clarify what I needed to do. So I will always be, um,
Even to a
always.
complete stranger. Wow.
Absolutely.
So it's
I
not like,
mean,
well, I'll help my
sometimes,
family, I'll help my friends, but I'll help you,
oh,
whoever
yes,
you
of
might
course.
be. Like Mary has a question or John has a question about something, and you have to sift through that, and it brings it back to the forefront of your mind. Like you're never going to forget stuff like that. But what you should remember, I would think, going forward is that you overcame it and you're still here
Absolutely.
and you're not all pilled out on a couch somewhere going, I did it, I made it, and you should just commend me for how far I got. Nah, it goes
Yeah.
beyond that. That's true inner strength, Ashley. I say without hesitation. Good for you,
Well, thank
because I mean, there's a lot of good people in this world, and I was always told if you can't find one, then be one. And to
I
me,
think that's
you
a
are
great
one.
motto.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely true. Um, I appreciate you sharing your stuff. I mean, there's so much more I want to ask you. Obviously we're out of time, unfortunately, but we'll definitely have you back. And I'm sure you're
Sounds
if you are already popular, now you're going to really be popular. You know what I
ah,
mean? And I'm just glad to be able to give you a platform. You come back anytime. I truly believe, in closing, that and I'm being very sincere when I say this. I haven't known you a long time, but you can't gauge a person just by what they say or what they said they can do or what they have done or anything. But for someone like you to not even hesitate to accept our invitation to come on, and I will tell people we had a chance a lot of times when we do an episode or something for Me Machine Radio, it could be pre-recorded, the guest part of it. You
mhm.
didn't want to do that. You didn't want
No,
you didn't want the easy way out. You're like, you know what, fuck it, no, let's do it live. Which I was like, really? I'm like, okay. I'm like, you're scaring me, but You had no hesitation. I swear to God, there should be more people like you. And maybe you helped some people, and I'm sure that makes you feel good, right?
It
You
does.
deserve it.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
you're in Alabama. I'm in New Jersey, but there's people that are listening that are in London. There are people in California. I mean, you're getting around somewhere where you would never see these people walking past them. And that's the beauty of this. Um, but
Right.
someone like you, so Ashley from Alabama, there you have it, folks. Because unscripted, very sincere, and someone like her, I got to tell you, and she's willing to let it all hang out, no matter what it is, to make not only herself feel good, but to make other people know that there is hope. That's something that's not tangible. It's something that can be achieved. And people that are willing to help others and taking their pain and their sorrow and everything else and pressing it out and getting rid of it and pushing it away to help others. To me, in my opinion, I've talked to a lot of people in my life, a lot of people, but that, someone like Ashley right here, that is the best that the human spirit has to offer. I truly believe that. Thank you, Ashley. Thanks for being with us. Take
Thank
care
you
of
for
yourself. God bless. Oh, we'll see you again.
bye. All right, sounds good.
All
Bye. Have a
right.
good
Take
night.
care of yourself. Bye bye.
Bye.
Well, folks, there you have it. And that was Ashley. And what an amazing girl, right? What an amazing lady. I mean, she's not only does she you would never know just by, with the way she talks about how much pain behind the eyes, you know what I mean? How much stuff that she had to endure and continues to do for not only her and her family, but for her children. Those are real people, folks. You can't make this stuff up. I'm glad she's still with us, as I'm sure that you guys are happy that she is as well. I wanted to thank everybody for listening in. Now, keep in mind, you can follow Ashley on Twitter. There's her thing on X there, Miss Ashbash 420. I follow her. And of course, us at Gregory Joseph 70 or Me Machine Radio Show, and that's for YouTube as well. Everything, TikTok, we're on all that stuff. Spotify, iHeartRadio, and also on Amazon. It's all going to be available. This episode and other episodes will be available within 48 hours of the actual, because we're taping now, but we were live. So we still are. So anyway, wanted to thank you for being here. Hey, look, we're going to have more and more. Now, if you think that you can possibly bring some value and you want to be a guest on the show, a remote guest, email us at memachine973 at outlook.com. All right, we do everything Eastern time zone, and that's the way we're going to roll around here. So I'll put my thing back up there real quick. But that's Miss Ashbass 420. That is Ashley. Once again, that is the best that the human spirit has to offer. People like that are willing to help others. That's the best that it gets, folks, in my opinion. Have a great Sunday. You were listening to the Me Machine Radio Show on New Jersey 88.6 WGAT. I'm Gregory Joseph, and until next time, if you can't be good, be mean. Take care.